Welcome back to Security Weekly. We are recording live at DerbyCon. I'm Matt Alderman, and joining me is Gabriel Ryan.
How you doing, guys?
So, Gabriel, you have a talk tomorrow on port security, 802.1.x, a new toolkit. Just give an overview of what you're going to cover tomorrow in your session.
Sure. So I guess the primary thing that I'm dropping tomorrow, I found a way to bypass 802.1x 2010, which is the latest version of 802.1x, in situations where weak forms of EAP are used, which it sounds pretty complicated, but it's actually, what I did is I took a lot of kind of existing methodologies from the wireless research community and just applied it to attacking wired port security, and it turns out they actually work against previously undefeated versions of 802.1x when used on wired networks.
Right, so there's different ways to use EAP, different methods.
Yeah,
so you're saying weaker methods like an MD5 or some of those other ones can be used to bypass some of the protections that 802.1x 2010
right.
was supposed to protect for, right?
Exactly. So EAP, it stands for Extensible Authentication Protocol, which, the reason why it's called extensible is it's not really so much a protocol as it is a framework. It's like a kind of like a wireframe that you can use to define, or a black box that you use to define, here's a general outline of how your authentication should look like. But the individual implementation, there are tons of those. And most of them are, have vulnerabilities that existed for, even as long as a decade.
And haven't been fixed. So now there's ways to bypass them.
Right.
So your talk tomorrow will talk about some of the potential ways these can be bypassed. And I think you're also putting out a toolkit, right, to help others?
Yeah, exactly. So basically, I guess my research in this area kind of started on a pen test where I ran up against one of these new forms of 802.1x, being 2010 specifically, and kind of hit a brick wall and was wondering why none of the stuff I was throwing at it was working. So, that kind of sparked my curiosity and started working on finding ways to defeat it, and which is what led me kind of to what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. But, whenever you're starting a new project like that, it's good to kind of go over the existing work and kind of familiarize yourself with it, and also, if you can, find ways that you can build upon it and improve upon it. So I've basically taken, pretty much all the classical 802.1x bypasses that work against 2004 and prior, and bundled them into a really, really easy to use toolkit. And then in addition to that, added the new attacks that I'm introducing tomorrow as well.
Interesting, yeah. So if you're a pen tester and 802.1x 2010 is stopping you, then they probably want to look at your talk and maybe your toolkit to say, are there ways to bypass this to help me continue my pen test?
Or even if you're just running up against vanilla 802.1x or 802.1x 2004. And the reason for that is because if you've ever been on a pen test or a red team where you've had to do that, it can kind of be a pain. There's a lot of steps involved. I'm a really big fan of automation. Yes, you should be able to do this stuff by hand as well, but if you're crunched for time, you're saving the client's time, you're saving yourself time.
Right.
If you can just run something and it works.
Yeah, especially pen tests these days, right? Everybody's trying to get them done as quickly as they can with maybe fewer resources or bodies added. Yeah. If you can add some automation to help identify where some of these gaps are, it helps everybody, right?
Well, not only that, think of your typical red team scenario, right? You're if you're in a situation where you actually have to bypass wired port security, presumably you've entered a building that you're not really supposed to be in, right? So you don't want to stick around any longer than you have to. You want to have something where you can drop it off, you get out, you connect back to it, and then start performing these attacks. And you need it to work, because if it doesn't work or you mess something up and there's too many steps involved, and you don't have the consistency that you get from having a set of tools that just work and work every time, then you put yourself into a situation where you have to start backtracking and potentially re-enter the building, reconfigure stuff, and it's just a mess. So
right. So if people want to get Silent Bridge, which is this toolkit you're going to announce tomorrow, where should they go to get that?
It is on GitHub.
It's on GitHub.
So yeah, it's just there's going to be a link posted. Actually, I can put one on Twitter.
Okay.
But
just for anybody who wants to find that toolkit, go to GitHub. It's called Silent Bridge.
Yeah, if you go to if you go to my company's website, digitalsilence.com, there's a blog page there, and I believe it's, if not the top results or the latest result on there, but if not, it's like the second one. But there should be like a blog post that has a URL that links to this tool.
Great.
So if you want to go find it, that's a good way to do it.
Perfect. Anybody who wants to see the recording from DerbyCon, you're going to be looking for Gabriel Ryan's talk tomorrow, 2 o'clock, I think.
I think I should probably figure that out.
Yeah, I think it's 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Something like that.
But you can go check it out there or go find the Silent Bridge Toolkit.